Hello, Ice and Fire Nerds. This is Chris, and let's get ready to rumble. Sorry. I had to. Alright guys, let's jump right in. This was a hell of an episode, probably one of my favorite episodes of all time. Definitely the best battle I've seen on TV as far as a medieval style battle. They definitely did the research. The fight choreography was awesome. The dialogue in between was awesome. The music was awesome. Everything just worked. Even though we knew the outcome of these battles, we had the Battle of Fire over in Mereen. We had the Battle of Ice up in the north. They still made us doubt it at times. This was the same director that directed Hardhome, one of the all-time great episodes of Game of Thrones last season. But I was up and down yelling at the TV like I was watching the damn Super Bowl. So we kick it off in Mereen, and Dany is pissed off at Tyrion, and rightfully so, because she comes back, her kids have had a party, she don't know what the hell's going on, why her city's being bombed. But Tyrion explains to her the pact that they had with the Masters, and they broke the pact, and everything was going well. She says fuck it, she has a little Ares Mad King in her, she wants fire and blood everywhere. But Tyrion, in a little shout out to Cersei I think here, actually tells her the story of why Jaime had to kill her father, the Mad King, and how he's going to burn the city down of King's Landing. So basically she understands, he talks her out of like burning everything to the damn ground as far as all these slaver cities, but she has to win this battle, and boy does she win this fucking battle. They go out to parlay with the Masters, and the Masters think they have everything wrapped up, and Dany's like, oh, I think we have a misunderstanding. We're here to talk about your surrender. And then Drogon flies up like a damn boss, and this was the best damn dragon scene I've ever seen. And she hops on Drogon's back. We finally see Rhaegal and Viserion again. They jump out of the damn pyramid and join the fight, and she goes and burns the fuck out of some ships. You don't need to burn them all, because likely all the rest of the slavers' troops, since they are slaves and not really loyal to the slavers, probably shit their pants and probably jumped off in the fucking ocean. We see some harpies slaughtering people out front in the attack. So we do see Daario and the Dothraki finally show up, because they had to ride all the way to Meereen. They couldn't fly on the back of a fucking dragon. Tyrion and Grey Worm have some great dialogue here. After they see what Dany's doing, they have no choice. The tables are turned. Grey Worm explains that one of them has to die because they broke the pact, and of course these assholes try to start selling each other out. But ironically enough, the guy that originally bought Tyrion and Jorah as slaves ends up begging for his life, and Grey Worm, like a boss, walks up and slits the other two's throats. And I love this dialogue from Tyrion. He came up to the former master that owned him and said, it always seems to be a bit abstract, other people dying. And also, in kind of a shout out to season 1 episode 1, where the White Walker let one of the Night's Watch guys people live so he could desert and tell their story, Tyrion pats him on the back and says, go home and tell your people what happened here. And then we head to the north, and Ramsay and Jon and them meet in the field as far as their little parlay, and Jon offers one-on-one combat like the old days. Ramsay's a bastard, but he's a smart bastard, so he turns this down knowing that he has the bigger army. But I love the dialogue here with Sansa when she says, you will die tomorrow, sleep well. We go back, they're discussing battle plans, and if I had to nitpick one thing about this episode, it was this scene. After Davos and Tormund and them left the tent, Sansa kind of jumps all over Jon about not doing what Ramsay wants him to do, which he actually does, so she did warn him, but she had this ace up her sleeve the whole time as far as the Knights of the Vale. She could have included that information there so Davos and Jon and Tormund could properly plan for the battle if they knew they had another army coming. Jon goes to Mel's tent where she's been hanging out for the last couple episodes apparently, and says, if I fall, don't bring me back. They talk a little bit about the Red God, but I was wondering here, has she had any visions in her flames since Bloodraven died? Davos and Tormund have a great dialogue. They're walking outside the night before the battle, and Davos tells Tormund he doesn't sleep very well before battles, and he walks around and thinks, and basically until he gets far enough away to take a good shit. And a real interesting line here from Tormund, the one we saw from the trailer, where he talks about Mance Rayder not being the one that was going to lead him through the long night. It was going to be Jon Snow. And Davos says, perhaps it's because we put too much faith in kings. And Tormund says, Jon Snow is not a king. But is that entirely true? And then we head back to Meereen, and I love this fucking scene where Theon and Yara actually get to Dany first, like we thought. They have a great conversation about all their fathers being evil, and that includes Tywin Lannister, the Mad King, and Balon Greyjoy, and how they left the world a horrible place, worse than they found it, and they're going to leave this world a better place than they found it, and I thought that was a great scene between them. You had a little dialogue between Tyrion and Theon, which goes back to season 1 when Tyrion was on his way back from the wall and stopped through Winterfell, and Robin the Starks kind of suspected Tyrion in the attempted murder of Bran. A little flirting going on between Yara and Dany, but they do come to an agreement. They need a little bit of help taking back the Iron Islands, getting rid of some uncles that don't believe women should rule. But she does agree and says, you can't have the Iron Islands, you can be the ruler of the Iron Islands as an independent state as long as you help me take back the 7 kingdoms, but in exchange you have to stop your reaving and raping and that way of life. So now Dany is a full-fledged warrior, queen, dragon riding, badass conqueror, but she does still have her moral compass here, and she doesn't want raping and slavery and all that kind of stuff. So she's really coming into her own here as a leader, a queen, and a warrior. And then we go back to the north, and the Battle of the Bastards is about to begin. Let's get ready to rumble! And we never find out who's on the burning crosses, but Ramsay brings out Rickon. We all kind of expected this. He set Rickon free to run towards Jon, which was setting a trap for Jon. And of course he runs in a straight line. He didn't zig, he didn't zag, but we kind of knew this was going to happen. But Jon falls for this trap, exactly what Sansa was warning him about, and he gets into the range of the archers when Rickon dives right in front of him. That kind of pisses Jon off. He starts to charge. The arrows come raining down and take out his horse, so he is standing alone. Then the cavalry charges, and Jon is basically going to die here again, and I thought he was for a minute, but I guess he decided to try to take out one or two with him. But Davos has already sent the Stark army on in as well, so they showed up just in time, and this battle took off from there. You felt like you were in the battle. Jon did some zigging and some zagging. You were immersed in it. You saw him taking out people left and right, dodging swords and dodging horses and spears. Hell, we even seen the Headless Horseman ride by. Ramsay has the archers continue to fire into his own men like the asshole he is. But then the bodies start to pile up. It looks pretty damn grim, and they get surrounded by Bolton men and a pile of bodies on one side. And Small John and his men try to basically corner them in on the other side where the big pile of bodies were. And he ends up getting tangled up with Tormund Giantsbane. And I fucking love this scene. Tormund was pretty much getting his ass whipped a little bit, but then he pulls a fucking Dracula and bites his fucking throat out. Then pulls out his knife and stabs him right in the face. The Bolton army started to close in around the Northern army. Jon basically gets trampled on and damn near buried in a pile of bodies. And I would say this was kind of a rebirth in and of itself. Something made him get up and try again and try to get the hell out of that mess. This could have been a rebirth amongst salt and smoke. Salty tears and blood of the battle going on. We had the smoke of the burning men. I just don't know if there was a bleeding star anywhere to be found. So this definitely signifies some kind of rebirth, just like it did with Dany back in a previous season when she's being lifted up by the crowd being called Misa. So this is a clear-cut parallel between these two characters as it has been all damn series long. But then, of course, as all hope is almost lost, the Army of the Vale rides up and goes through these Bolton men like a fucking bulldozer. So Littlefinger shows up just in time, and of course as Ramsay sees what's going on, that basically he's lost now, he turns and runs like the bitch that he is back to Winterfell. 1-1's in the middle of this. He's taking a lot of spears and arrows, and I don't see why 1-1 didn't make some kind of weapon here. All he needed to do was pull up a damn tree, and he could have knocked half the Bolton army out of the park like a damn Louisville slugger. But Jon, 1-1, and Tormund see Ramsay running. They go after him and they chase him all the way back to Winterfell. And Ramsay says their army is lost, and one of his men says, yeah, but our army is lost. And Ramsay says, well, we have Winterfell, but oh hell no, the Northern army, they have a 1-1.
I have an army. We have a Hulk.
So 1-1 Waka 1-1 breaks down the damn gate. He's taking a lot of arrows from the men up top. He breaks through, but then goes to his knees. And I kind of thought this may happen, but man, 1-1 Waka 1-1, you the hero. You went down like a damn champ. So rest in peace, 1-1 Waka 1-1. So then, of course, that bitch-ass Ramsay, he wants to damn take up Jon Snow's offer all of a sudden when he's out of options. And Jon says, you know what? Fuck you. I don't even need a sword. Drops his damn sword and goes after him. Picks up a Mormont shield and blocks a few arrows on his way to beating Ramsay's ass. Gives him a damn throat punch with the shield. Gets on top of Ramsay ground and pound style. Goes off on his damn face. He's about to lose it and beat him to death and looks up and sees Sansa there. He stops himself, and I think here he wanted Sansa to kind of get the last blow in. I was kind of expecting Sansa to pick up a sword here and start hacking herself. We see Mel on the battlements of Winterfell like she saw in her visions. We see Davos with the stag looking up at Melisandre pissed off. There's definitely going to be some tension between them two next week about what happened to Shireen. They bring Rickon's body in, and Jon says we're going to bury him in the crypts beside my father. And there was nothing more gratifying in this episode, even with the big battles going on, than seeing those damn Stark banners being displayed again in Winterfell. Winterfell is back where it's supposed to be with the Starks. Huge payoff. And on top of that, Jon had apparently tied Ramsay's ass up to a chair in the damn kennels. Sansa goes down there, and I love this dialogue with Sansa here. She's really stepped up, and she says to Ramsay, your words will disappear, your name will disappear, your house will disappear, every memory of you will disappear. And then Ramsay's own damn bitches commence to tearing his ass up, and they even let us see a shot of him getting his damn face bit off. It was just the perfect irony for him to die by his own hounds after he had Fat Walda and his little brother eaten by hounds alive. He's hunted people like animals with his own damn hounds, and as much as I loved him as the perfect villain as far as being a psychopath asshole, fuck you Ramsay, bye bitch. And Sansa walks away with a damn smirk on her face. So yeah, I really love this episode. Again, it wasn't just for the action. You know, you don't have to have a lot of action to have a good Game of Thrones episode. As a matter of fact, that's what makes Game of Thrones so good. You have these breaks in between action-packed episodes with great dialogue, great character development. Some of that's been a little sloppy off and on this year, but this really paid off. Even the dialogue scenes in between the battles were great. They had meaning. They reconnected to previous seasons. We had two big characters in Jon and Dany kind of find out who they really are. Dany Dany has really come into her own as far as being a queen and a leader. She's got all this power, yet she still has her moral compass. Jon was kind of reborn here after kind of just floating through the last few episodes, not really knowing what he wanted to do with his life after being reborn, literally. I really love the Ironborn storyline tying in with Dany. I don't really know how this is going to work out for Euron now, because now she knows his plan as far as him coming to marry her and take what he wants based off of her dragons and her power. So I wouldn't be surprised if Euron doesn't last too long on this show. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below about the Battle of the Bastards. What did you like? Anything you hated? Anything that could have been done better? Or were you like me and totally hyped up as soon as the damn thing came on? Also, if you hadn't seen last week's Q&A, please click here to check that out. That was where James and I talked about episode 8. I did talk about episode 9 and 10 for that matter, as far as a lot of speculation. So go check that out and see what I got right there. Thanks again for all the support. I really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. Thanks for watching, and happy shooting.